Hi everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates. How is everyone? I am just turning on the camera and thought I'd invite you if you'd like to just craft and chat with me for a minute. If you can hear background noise, I've been a bit glued to the news watching the hurricane make landfall. Ian, is it Ian? This one? Anyway, I'm praying that the people aren't going to be too terribly hurt or, in harm's way. But so far, there's not any real reports coming back about it because I think it just made landfall. I've been working on a really fun journal, a paper journal for a swap. However, it has gotten a little more tedious than I planned on it getting, which I think happens a lot. I just get carried away with another idea for ephemera and tags, and then before I know it, it's a big alligator mouth journal. Yesterday or last night, I try to do this before I go to bed so that I'll have my results in the morning. Like I covered some clips. I don't think I brought them in here, but these chrome looking clips I covered with some of this patina for metal, and I like to do it before I go to bed so it's dry the next day, because otherwise I can't keep my hands off of it and end up touching it before it's dry. But if I do it before I go to bed, then I can leave it for a few hours. So for today, these are the other, I rusted some pieces and they ended up turning out very different because they were all different types of metal. Like this one, I don't know if you've experienced trying to rust the ones you get from the Dollar Tree, but my experience is they don't rust. They just kind of lose their sheen a little bit. And then the old ones I got out of my mom's sewing box, they must have been real metal because look at how beautifully they rusted. And I didn't want them to get too rusty because then I worry that that's just a little bit too much corrosion. So they just rusted just enough to get that old look. Can you see those? I like how the pens turned out. And the paper clips, this one had some kind of a gold coating, so it didn't really rust, but it did dull it down a little. And then the other paper clips that were made with whatever this metal is, they rusted nicely. I don't think you can see that very well. Let's see if I can show you the difference. Anyway, I rusted a few things. I also had these big clips that were on sale at the clearance sale at Hobby Lobby. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, so these were on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and I immediately knew I wanted to use them to clip journals and put dangles and tassels on them. So this one went in the same little pile of rust solution, and it tarnished it just enough to look nice and old. So this one compared to this one is what I got, and I really like it. I didn't want it again too rusty because I don't want to handle that much rust, but I did want it to get enough that it took that big chrome mirrored shine off of it, and it did. So I'll do this one, and I bought another pack, so I'll do that one too. So these are gonna look great on vintage journals. So that's one thing I thought I'd show you. And now I just want to quickly make a little altered paper clip. And since this one didn't really tarnish, I'll cover this one. And I am not really sure I know exactly how to do this. I'm going to do it my way. There's plenty of videos where people are doing altered paper clips. And for some reason, I just kind of do it different almost every time. I don't know why. And I'm going to do this one by just folding it over. Oops. And then I'll show you the page I want to put it on. So that's why I think my my journals just end up taking so much time, because I'll thumb through them after I think I'm done and I'm like, oh, but a clip would look really nice there, or oh, one more tag will look really good here. And then you start getting everything pulled out at once. The flowers, the bling, the ribbon, and at some point I start anyway. I don't know about you, but at some point I start feeling really overwhelmed with the mess. So I'm almost to that point where I can start putting it all away. I'm actually looking forward to it. Okay, so I'm going to clip it on like that, and then I'm going to cover the front part here with, I'm going to glue it over it. I don't think I brought a punch. I think you're going to put a little punch there, but maybe not. We'll see. All right. Let me glance over here and see what they're saying. Oh, that eye wall is so huge. It's a Category 4 hurricane. And as I understand, Katrina was a 3. And Katrina's catastrophic event was more of a wind event, which made the water rise, I guess. I'm no meteorologist, but we all know it was a really horrific thing. Okay, so I'm going to use my art glitter glue, which I put in here. I'm going to glue this down. Actually, I want to pull this out just a little bit. So if I pull this clip out just a little bit, oh, that was way more than a little bit. I can hang some seam binding from it, which I think I'm going to do. Okay. So this is really just a craft with me, because I'm not going to be teaching you how to do this any particular way. Like I say, I just kind of find my way. But this back piece here is what I'll be able to clip onto the page. That's my hope anyway. There we go. What else? I wanted to use these little milliner flowers, which I just love. And on the page, I'm going to put them on. This bright pink one won't work, so I'll save those. But these pretty blue and white ones will. So I'm going to glue those on. And do these remind you of those old-timey sugar flowers they used to put on like pinafores and cakes? That's what they remind me of. And then I want to put some lace. I don't know, yeah, just lace. But I'm going to scrunch it up a little bit. So I hope everyone's doing well. I have been a big old chicken and spoiled brat because I won't go out in this heat. And thankfully, except for work and back, and next week I'm off, so I'm looking forward to getting some housekeeping done, pulling out some fall decorations, and of course crafting. And hopefully the heat will break soon. I'm such a whiner when it comes to the heat. And I'm very grateful for air conditioning. When we were kids, I grew up in the Midwest, where a lot of homes, especially the older houses, didn't have air conditioning because it just wasn't the region where we had very long stints of heat. So now I'm in the south, and I just don't know how people make it without air conditioning down here. Most people have it, so even in the smallest of homes, they'll have a window unit or something. You just have to. And then those that don't, I guess they just find a way. But yeah, thank God for AC. Just gonna hold that there a minute. I would have used hot glue, but I always burn myself. I'm not a good maneuverer of the hot glue gun. But I do think I should have used my Fabri-Tac. Did I bring that? Oh, I brought my Fabri-Tac in here. I should use that. That would have glued quicker. Just gonna do that right now, even though I don't mind it sticking up a little bit. I decided I like the smaller bottles of Fabri-Tac because once you can use them in a way where once they start getting to the bottom, they're not already stringy. That's been my experience with the larger bottles, even though I still have some larger bottles in my stash. Excuse me. I'm having tea with you as well. This is peppermint tea. It's yummy. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is just to have something green that might say foliage or leaves. I want to put a green satin little bow. It's also because I just like embellishing even the tiniest things. So we'll put that bow there. And I better use my Fabri-Tac so it'll stick. And I'm gonna put it right here. So is anybody doing any kind of swaps or challenges lately? Do you have a challenge going on? I haven't heard of many challenges right now. It's kind of the end of the summer. Kids are going back to school, I hope. We're in a bit of a precarious situation here because they're not requiring students to wear masks. It's not as serious at my son's school because they're high schoolers, and I think most of them are vaccinated. I'm gonna assume, I'm gonna hope, but because they don't have a mask mandate, the numbers are going up quite a bit, so it's getting a little scary. But we just stay prayerful that it's not going to become another lockdown or virtual learning situation, because I don't know about anybody else's kids, but my son, he needs to be in the classroom for his ability to focus. However, I have to say I'm very grateful he's gotten off to a very good start. That was a scary time for all the kids, I think, and the parents and the teachers, me being one of them. Okay, do I want to, I think I do want to add a pink one, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to stick it right there, because 3 is a pair. Do you feel that way? I don't know if you can even see. I hope it's not too much glare. I was just working away and not thinking that maybe you're not seeing this, so I apologize if I wasn't in frame very well. I'm sorry. I should probably turn this off because it just probably sounds like noise to you. But the reporter is, you know how they stand out in the pouring rain and the wind? And they say they do that because they want us to see what we're avoiding and why they want you to evacuate. I just get nervous that they're going to get blown off into the Gulf. So I'm going to put my little ribbon through here if I can, and make this sort of a dangle, if I can get it through there. It's a little putsy. There we go. And tuck it through the loop. And then I'll show you what page I'm thinking of putting this on without showing you my whole journal, because I want to do a separate video for that. But if you can see, that's all I did. Oops. I'm gonna trim this a little bit because it's competing with the pretty lace. There we go. So I have 3 little milliner flowers. It is just too bright. I'm gonna hope it adjusts itself, because I'm not sure how well you're seeing this. But there's my altered little paper clip. That was fun, but it's making me want to go decorate little cupcakes or something. But I won't, because no one will eat them. I have a very odd family. They don't really like sweets, and if they do, it's like if you're at a party or something and they're serving cake, they'll eat a piece of cake, but if I bring it and then take the rest home, it'll just sit there and then it'll tempt me. So I don't bake as much as I used to, and I miss it because I really like baking. But holiday season's rolling around and I will bake and give away the things I make. So this is another embellishment I made. Isn't that kind of fun? I just took those tags that normally have paper in the middle, and I punched out the paper and put a piece of acetate in there, because I'm making a journal and it's titled Penny for Your Thoughts. Anyway, so this is sort of my little dangle that I'm going to start collecting, or I'm going to make a little collage of tags. I'm going to put the number 1 on there, and maybe even a piece of seam binding. I don't know, but I'll putz with this one a little bit, and then I'll show it to you on the completed journal. So I thought I would just go ahead and finish this tag on camera and visit with you for a little bit more. And I'm not gonna make it very fancy. Like I said, I've just been putzing, and whatever type of tag ends up is the type of tag that I make. So I was trying to do one with a penny for your thoughts as my idea, and like I said, I put it in this little frame. However, I'm gonna have to try. I'm not such a neat crafter. I wish I weren't so messy. Sorry for that glare. Because I tried out this patina metal dye or paint. It works great, but it actually made the metal color a little lighter than I wanted. I wanted it a little more coppery, like a penny. So I blotted a lot of it off. And then I have these little cardstock punch out tags, and I thought this number 1 would be cute, except I'm gonna have to snip that and hope that it'll go through this teeny tiny little hole. There it goes. So I'm gonna pin that on, or I should say tie that on, and then I'm going to cut out my circle. Excuse me. I have hole punches that are supposed to be like 2-inch punches. They don't work very well on cardstock though. The ones that I have. They were kind of passed on to me from my mother. And I think she had an easier time using them because she was just punching, you know, the weight of like printer paper. So I have that, and then I've been like obsessed with inking around the edges of everything. Sometimes I don't like to ink around anything, and then there's times where I want to ink around everything. This little dauber thing comes in those packs of cheap paintbrushes you can get from Michaels, and I used this brand new for my entire most recent journal, and it's chewed it up, so it's good. It was actually a nice test to see how durable they are, and for the price it got me through an entire journal, but now it is starting to kind of deteriorate. So I have the other daubers that you can buy in the Ranger section of the store by the Tim Holtz stuff. I'll just replace that one with one of those. And I didn't bring my tiny little hole punch in here, did I? Do I have another one? What shall I use? Yeah, I didn't bring a punch in. Oh, I know what I have. Excuse me while I dig through my jar here. There's always a little junk drawer or junk jar or something, but I've got this big quilt pen. It'll make the perfect size hole. There we go. See? And so I think I would like to tie this on, but I want to put it through the back, and I better snip it again. So I have the number 1 for 1 cent, the little striped or lined circle tag. I'll keep this one kind of rustic and plain. And then I'm going to tie a knot. And tie a knot. I'm sure you're not wanting to watch me just try to fiddle with tying a knot. Here we go. There. Give it a little yank to make sure it's snug. Oh, it flipped over. I don't want it on that side. There we go. And you know what I discovered? I can't read the date on the pennies as well as I used to, but this one I believe is a 1985 penny. And one thing that I thought would be fun is when you to put the penny in and then put this in the journal about a memory from the year on this penny. So I thought I would put that on the page, and then whoever's looking at it can say, 1985. What was happening in my life in 1985? And if you have a thought or a memory or something that is journal worthy in your mind, you would just journal about it. So the premise of this last journal that I'll show you at some point was basic journaling prompts to give you something fun to journal about, or whatever the idea for that prompt is. Okay, so I think that's all for this one. Kind of a penny shaker. You probably put glitter and all kinds of stuff in there. I've actually never made a shaker tag before. So this is the most, I don't know, simplistic, understated example of a shaker tag. but I kind of like it. So I'll put this away now, and I'll probably pin it into the journal with a bulb pen, or maybe one of these cute teeny tiny little safety pins. Have you seen these? These are those Ranger ones. They're really cute. And just the right size for tags. So there's that one. All finished. My #1 penny tag. If you really wanted to be putsy, I suppose you could journal right on the tag if it was just a short sentence or two. Yeah. Okay, guys. So I have all these little scraps and bits just to do some little final touch embellishments. I end up going through my tags and the papers that I've made to create tags with, and you start realizing you have way more than enough. So I created way more ephemera than I needed for this journal, and before I knew it, I had all this ephemera, and then I wanted to use all of it, and I just had too much. So if you want to craft with me again sometime, I think I'll come back later and do a few more tags. And without showing you my whole journal, I'll go to the page that I want to add this one to. One moment. See if I can get there. So, oh, there's just so many pages. Here it is. So here's a sneak peek. It is a Winnie the Pooh tag, and the back of it, this is how it came. Oh, who makes this paper pad? I think it's My Mind's Eye. Anyway, it has these pretty pen stripes on this side, which just reminded me of Winnie the Pooh, kind of Christopher Robin. And then the bat gingham, of course, reminds me of a boy, you know, like baby clothes. I used to love putting my son in blue gingham. Actually, I think he had Oshkosh Bagosh little bibbed overalls with this pen stripe. I'm pretty sure he did. Anyway, and then this pretty tag that says Precious. And so I just kept remembering these little milliner flowers and thought this would be pretty to clip my Pooh tag on. You want me to tell you what it says? We didn't realize we were making memories. We just knew we were having fun. Isn't that the life of a kid when you're free to just roam and play? That's so true. Okay, so I think it clips on there nicely, and it's what I had in mind for finishing off this page. So it wasn't a huge crafting adventure, but it was fun to be able to craft along with you. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Happy crafting!